Hello, lovely people. I welcome you once again to the Roots Academy. And in this video, we are starting with the lesson 1 of how to use Microsoft Excel. So we are starting with the first lesson. Before we start with anything on Microsoft Excel, we need to know what a spreadsheet is and what we use it for. So when we talk of spreadsheets, we are talking about a piece of software that is used for handling and manipulating numbers. So any other software that is used for manipulating numbers, handling numbers, calculating numbers, multiplying, dividing, and others. Manipulating numbers is what it terms as spreadsheet. And Microsoft Excel is one of the examples of spreadsheet that we have. And that is the focus of our training, how to use the Microsoft Excel. So, when you open a Microsoft Excel workbook, you get let me start with the versions. We have different versions of Microsoft Excel, and with this training we are going to use 2016 version of Microsoft Office 2016 version. And when you open it for the first time, you have a blank workbook, and also have different themes, but our focus is not on that. Our focus is on the blank workbook. So this is the blank workbook that is selected here. So now let's deal with the interface. Now we have, when you come to this side, the top side here, the top right here, top left here, we call this area the quick access toolbar. So where you can see the save button there, you can see the undo and the redo button here. You can see another button here which will help you to edit this, add some features here. So you can click on it and it will give you options to add some features or some buttons there, so that anytime you want to use it, you get access to it quickly. That's why we call it quick access toolbar. So you can help you to customize it. So you can untick those that have been ticked to remove them from there if you don't want it. And also you can tick and add some icons or buttons to the quick access toolbar. So that's the quick access toolbar. Then after the quick access toolbar, we have the title bar. So this is the title bar. That's where you can see the name of the workbook that I've opened. So we have the default name, which is book 1. That means we have not given a name to our workbook, or we have not saved it with a name. So we have the book 1 as a default name. That's the title bar. Then you have the menu bar. So with the menu bar, here we have the File tab, the Home tab, the Insert, Page, Layout, and others. With this same thing, you can customize and add some buttons to it. With the default Office or the default Microsoft Excel, you not see this tab here, the developer tab. You not see it. So you go to choose some process and then activate it so that I can see it here. So that is not part of our lesson today. We'll do that later on. So this is what we term as the menu bar, and the menu bar contains the buttons. So each button has its own commands. So each button has its own command. So the commands here, these are the commands. We call them the ribbons. So when you click on the home button, on the home tab, you have the commands here, where the clipboard, the font, the alignment, and others. These are the ribbons or the commands found under the home tab. And you go to insert, you also have its own ribbons or its own commands. Okay, so each of the tabs has their own commands. Now when you go to the ribbons, you see that they are in groups. So this is a group. You see that it has been divided with a vertical lines. So each vertical line divides a group. So this is a group. So under the group we have the clipboard group. So with the clipboard group, you have the paste, the cut, the copy, then format printer. But if you want more options under the clipboard group, you need to click on this small arrow here to give you more options or more things you need to know or you can see under the clipboard button. So you just click on it to give you more options. Okay, so you can click on this one too, the font button here. It will also give you more options. Okay, you see that you have different options apart from what you see here. So there are other things that you can do under the font command or the font ribbon or the font group. So that's it for all of them here. So you have the ribbons here. Now we have something we call the cell or the name box, the cell box or the name box. With this, it displays the active cell, the name of the active cell. One thing you must note here is that Microsoft Excel deals with grid, that's lines intersecting with vertical lines intersecting with horizontal lines, creating boxes or grid, and each box is called a cell, and it has a name, a unique name for each of the cells. So the name also is a combination of columns and rows. So Excel is deal with columns and rows. So when you look at the sheet here, this is the workbook or this is the worksheet. At the top here, at the top side here, you can see the alphabet here from A to the last digit or the last alphabet. We call that row, the row name. So this is a row. We call it the column. We call them the column name. So we have the A column here, we have the B and the others. And one thing you must note here is that the columns we have 16,384 columns in all. So from A you go through to the last column here. Okay, so the last column is ZFD. So if you come from A to ZFD, you are going to see that you are going to get 16,384 columns. So that's the columns here. So these are the columns. So if you want to select the column, you can just click on the number. Let's say you want to select the column C, just click on the letter C to select the whole column for you. So you can check and see if it is selected truly. You see that you can select here, so that everything is selected here from the first to the last number. Now on the left side here we have numbers here, and these numbers is what determines the row number or the row name. So this is the first row, the second row in that order. And with this row we have 1,048,576 rows in all. And I believe you are not going to use everything, so we just for educational sake, that's why I'm telling you this, that we have 16,384 columns. That's 16,384 columns here. Then we have 1,048,576 rows. So put that in mind. and the combination of rows and column will give you a cell name. So if you have the row row C, column C, and row 5, that's where it will meet. So it will give you the name C5. That's the name of the cell. So cell is made up of column name and row number. So if you select any of the cells, you see that the name box will display the cell name. Now we have the formula bar. So this is the formula bar. This is where anything you enter into the cell will be displayed in the formula bar. So that is the formula. It could also help you to know the formula that you have entered in each of the cells when the cell is active. Then you also have these options here. We call it the insert function and the other things here. This one we're going to deal with them later on. Then when you come to the bottom here, we have the sheets. So this is the sheets column here, where you can see the sheets items. So the number of sheet that you have, it will be displayed here. So this, now we have only one sheet, and this is the name sheet 1. You can rename it. We deal with that also later on. And if you want to add more sheets to the worksheet or to the workbook, you can just click on the add button here, which is the plus button here. Just click on it to add a new sheet for you. You can equally delete it, you can rename it, you can change the color, you can do so many things to this. You can even lock it, hide it, unhide it, and so many other things there. And this is the navigation bar to help you to navigate. We have the navigation through the columns, the navigation through the row here. Okay, then we have the view options here. So you have the normal view, you have the page view. So let's click on it and see how it looks like. Okay, so this is the page layout view. So with this, if you want to print it, you can use this format so that it will help you to adjust the area that you want to print. You can use this. Then you also have the other option here, which is also another view option button here. So let's click on that one and also see how it works. So that is the feature here. You see, it will move all the grid, all the lines from the worksheet. Okay, so let's go back to our normal view. Good. Then this one is the adjustment. This one also is an adjustment, the zoom button. It will help you to zoom in and out of your sheet. Okay, so this is the interface of Microsoft Excel, and you have the buttons here. This one also, the close, the maximize, the minimize button here. You also have the ribbon customization button to help you to customize either you want to hide it or show the ribbon. So let's click on it and see. So if you want to auto hide it, you can click on it. If you want to show the tabs, anything that you want to do with the ribbons here, you can just click on auto hide. So with the auto hide, it will automatically hide it. Anytime you send your mouse to the top here, then you click on this, it will show you again. When you move the mouse away from it, it will hide it again. That is the auto hide. So you can equally change to show tabs. So this, it will only show the tabs without the ribbons. So unless you click on unless you click on the tabs, you don't see the ribbons. That is the show tabs. Or if you want to show the tabs and the commands, that one is the default one to show everything for you here. Okay, equally you can hide the formula bar here too. You can hide it here, and there are so many things you can do with Excel. So this is the interface, and this is the first introductory of our lesson, of our training. So let's try to learn how to save our work. So If you want to enter anything in this Excel sheet, we type them or we insert them in the cells. So let's say I want to insert my name, okay, in a cell, then another one in another cell. Okay, good. So this is it. And if you want to move from one cell to another, either you use the control cursor or the control button to move to the next cells. The other is the left and right arrow keys, or the top and down arrow keys to move to the next cells. Equally, if you enter the cell a value or a label in a cell, and you want to move to the next cell, if you want to move to the next cell on your right, that is immediate right, you can just click on the tab key. So you just click on the tab key, you see that it have moved to the next cell on your right. Or you can use the arrow key, that's the right arrow key. But if you want to move your active cell to the bottom, or to the bottom, or the down cell, you click on enter. Click on enter, it will move you to the down cell, the cell below the cell that you entered previously. So just click on enter, it will move you to the next cell downwards. You can equally use the arrow keys, the up and the down, to navigate through your sheet. Okay, the next thing we are going to do here is okay, let's go to how to save it, so that in our next lesson we go straight to business. Now, if you want to save your workbook, there are different ways of saving a workbook. First, you can just click on Ctrl+S. That's the shortcut. Ctrl+S. If it is the first time you want to save it, this is the first time, your first attempt to save your workbook, and you click on Ctrl+X, it will give you a save as dialog box. So let's try it and see. Ctrl+S. Since it's our first time, it's like it gives us a save as dialog box. But if it is not your first time of saving, you have already saved the work, but you have made an editing in it, and you want to resave it with the same name at the same location, and you click on Ctrl+S, it will not give you any dialog box, but it will just save it for you at the background. So we do that one too. So with the save as button, if you click on the Ctrl+S for the first time, to bring you to this screen. Equally, you can also go and click on this button here, that's the quick access toolbar button here. If you click on it too, if it is the first time you are clicking on it, it will still bring you to a save as button. You can also go to file. You go to file, then you have the option there, save and save as. Now let me give you the difference between the save and the save as. For the save is when you want to save your work, either for the first time or for the second time, or if you made an editing, you want to save it. With this, if you click on the save, either for the second time, it will save your work with the same name at the same location. But in the case where you want to, you have an original document, you have made an editing in it, but you want to keep the previous document without making the editing affect it. That means you want a duplicate of your document. That's where you click on save as. So you click on save as, it will give you an option to rename your sheet and give it a new location. It can be the same location, alright, but it will give you an option to rename it. That's the work of the save as. But for the save, it will not give you any option. If it is the first time you click on it, fine, you give the option to name it and the location. But after that, the option ceases. Now let's try it. Now let's click on save as. You we are clicking or we are saving our work for the first time, so you save as. Then you go to browse where you want to place your document. You go to browse and it will send you to your document or your system. You select location. Let's say we want to save our work on a desktop. You click on the desktop, you give it a name. So let's name it Excel tutorial. Okay, Excel tutorials. Okay, so give the name, the location. You have selected desktop. You can create a new document and put the Excel in it, or the workbook in it. So you click on new document or new folder, then you give the name to it, training. Okay, the naming, let me rename it again. I think the spelling is wrong, that's why I'm going back to correct it. So okay, let's there. Okay, so this is it. So let me rename it. Okay, so training. Okay, so we have the folder here. So we just double click and open it. Then you click on save to save it into that folder. Equally, before you can save it, if this is your final document, you can change the save as type. Let's say you have the Excel workbook, that is the default. You can save your work in PDF. You can save your work in Excel macro enabled. That's when you add macros or you add coding to your work. That one will be the advanced course. We do that later. So these are the save as type, the type that you can save your work in. So you just select it and save it. But we are dealing with Excel workbook, so we want to save it in Excel workbook. Select it, then click on save. Now our work is saved. Now let's go back to our file. Okay, before that, let me add something to this. Let me edit it a bit. Okay, I've added another text to it. Now we still want to save it again. So if you click on Ctrl+S, you see that nothing is showing. It will not pop up any save as variable because we have already saved it. So it will only save the editing that you made in your workbook without allowing you to change the name or the location. Now you can also click on this save button to still save it for you. You can go to file and then click on the save button here to still save it for you without allowing you to open the save as button or save as dialog box. But if you click on save as, it will not give you another option to either change the name and the location. So you see the difference between save and save as. So let's take note of that. Now I think we will end here. I think this is the interface. So in the next lesson we are going to start with more details. Now one thing I left out, if you are entering a test, if you are entering something into your workbook, if you enter a value, just a value, we call it label, or just a test, you call it label. You see this one is a test, so we call it label. And we also have figures or numbers. And if you want to enter a formula, that's where you start with equal sign. So that will be our next lesson. That will be, we'll go deep into it in our next lesson. I'll end here and see you in the next lesson. God bless you and enjoy your training. Have a nice day. Bye bye.